One mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Welcome into a hump day edition of the One Mic. The One Mic with Big Mike show. Here I am your host, Big Mike, heard live right now on Spreaker.com. I'm also on the Spreaker app. That's SPREAKER.com and the app. I'm also on my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. And if you got the TuneIn app on your phone, your tablet or whatnot, I'm live there as well. I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 7 o'clock. I usually go to around 9 o'clock or so, no later than about 9:01. And sometimes I try to bounce a little bit early, but that never really seems to work out. You can catch the show on demand on all those outlets as well if you don't get a chance to stick around for the entire show. I know we got a lot of sports going on tonight. We got basketball kicking off for night number 2 in the NBA. We also got the World Series, of course. So if you want to check the show out on demand, you can go to any of those 4 outlets I already mentioned, or you can go to iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Now, I know normally I'm doing the streaming video situation on YouTube, but something just happened right before I hit the button for the show to start, and the camera situation froze up. Have been having some issues with it in the last week or so. So as I'm talking to you right now, I'm trying to get everything back going and together. But if not, it's all good. You can just hear me tonight. You can just go on over to Spreaker and check me out there. If you guys want to be a part of the show, and tonight's the night that you definitely want to be a part of the show, you can text me at 404-902-8104. You can also jump inside my live interactive chat room. Just go to Spreaker or to the Spreaker app or to my website, onemicwithbigmike.com, and just click on that little thought bubble icon you see there. And boom, you'll be a part of the show. You'll be in the live interactive chat room, hanging out with all the other people in there. You can also, if I ever get this Facebook Live situation situated, you guys can leave comments below the streaming video as well. As far as everything else, tonight is Wednesday, so of course, the wonderful, brilliant Matt Lutovsky from Sporting News is going to join us. He's my fantasy football expert. He's going to hop on at 7:30 at the bottom of the hour to enlighten us and give us some of his fantasy football gold to help us try to win some of these fantasy leagues that we're in. Also at the top of the hour, don't forget, I'll do my daily look back into the annals of sports, which I call on this day. I feel like I had an energy drink or something today. Maybe I'm just excited. Basketball is back, and Monday came and went, show came and went, and I ain't mentioned not one damn time that basketball is about to kick off. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize that. That's probably part of the reason. That's the main reason. I didn't realize that it was that night, that it was last night that basketball was kicking off, and shame on me for not knowing that. Well, anyway, still working on the situation here with the camera and whatnot. I don't know. It may be a no-go for the day. It may be an audio-only day for the kid today. As far as today's show goes, we got our question of the day brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com, and you guys can answer it by texting me or by jumping in the live interactive chat room. The question of the day is based on what happened yesterday. The Cubs lost in the World Series. The Warriors got it pushed all the way in by the San Antonio Spurs on night number 1 of the NBA season. You know, the Goldenstate Warriors team that some idiots thought was going to go 82-0. That's ridiculous, but whatever. So the question of the day is, who has more to worry about? Not just based on them losing, but if you saw both contests, who has the most to worry about? So you can text me at 404-902-8104 or jump inside the live interactive chat room. Make sure you guys are signing up for your free Spreaker accounts as well. Just go to Spreaker. It's just like signing up for anything else, like Facebook or what's the other one? Twitter. Any free account is absolutely free, and that way you can follow me or follow my show on Spreaker. I'm at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. I don't know what the hell's going on with this camera situation, so it might be I might have to go ahead and nix it for the night, man. No video. Maybe during the break I might try to like crank it back up, but as far as I know right now, you just got the sultry sounds of my voice tonight. Let's set the show up. Tonight, I already mentioned we're going to talk to Matt Lutovsky. We're going to talk NBA. How about that? We got to talk NBA. Of course, the NFL still popping. Josh Brown issued a statement. The woman-beaten kicker, formerly now of the New York Giants. I'm not going to do any NCAA stuff today at all. And guess what? Yeah, Trick Daddy speaks, and I'm gonna talk to my ladies for a minute. I told Renee I had something for us because I might even have Renee call the show tonight. See what how Renee feels about that. Yeah, I might even have Renee call the damn show tonight. But let's start with last night. Let's start with the National Basketball Association, aka the NBA. I got something funny in there while I'm talking about this too, and I hope I don't forget to mention it. The Undefeated did an article about the lack of white American players, how white Americans are the minority by a long shot in the NBA. And I don't know if it was like written satirically, but it was funny to me. It's kind of funny. And JJ Redick spoke on it. I think my man, the Birdman, he spoke on it as well. I don't know if they got any of those Plumlee boys on to speak about it, but I found it kind of entertaining. So hopefully before the end of the show I can get that out as well. But let's start with the Cavs, the 2015-16 NBA champions. Got their rings yesterday, had a ring ceremony. I didn't really look at the ceremony at all. I turned to see when the game was coming on, and I saw Wiz Khalifa performing. So, that was a thing. I was like, damn, they couldn't get nobody. Who's from Cleveland besides Bone Thugs and Harmony? Ain't no other rappers from Cleveland, I guess, huh? I guess so. Khalifa was the best bet. We them boys. So I saw that, but then the game started. And, them boys like LeBron and Kyrie, them, they look like they ready to go. LeBron hit them boys for a trip dub yesterday, out the gate. What did LeBron have? 19, 14, and 11. Kevin Love had a decent game, too. Kyrie hit him for about 30. I think he ended up with like 29. The other thing I got from the game, and I only know one person personally that even cares about this stuff. Rob Calloway cares about this stuff. But LeBron has officially just said, you know what? F it with the hair. He's like, damn it. He's about to, in a minute, by like the All-Star break, LeBron's going to have like the Sherman Helmsley, the Uncle Phil situation going on. He's not going to give 0 Fs, if you know what I'm saying. And like at a certain point, I understand the mentality that, you LeBron, you everything has been done. You got your championships, your MVPs. You brought a championship to a city who hadn't had one in like forever. I understand the whole deal about, I don't give a damn. But like, bro, you got loot. You know what I mean? You got enough loot to get doing those, hair replacement situations like Joe Buck got. Joe Buck said he got addicted to it. He almost lost his damn voice. I don't know how that works. You get a hair replacement and your voice go. I don't know, white people problems, I guess. But now you got, get some Rogaine or something. You got the loot to figure it out. This dude then put a barber on salary, moved him from Miami to Cleveland. Man, you must hate him. But anyway, the barber that he met in Miami moved him to Cleveland. It's like at some point, your man got to be like honest with you. Like, Brian, let me go ahead and just knock this all the way down. Not like bald headed, but like all the way like Chris Paul down. You know what I mean? So people can't see that. That Red Sea on your head, but I don't know. It don't work like that. The Knicks look like the Knicks. You know what I mean? My man Rob said he feels like the Knicks are a playoff team. I think he meant in the NBA. I personally don't see it. You know what I mean? I don't get that from the old Knickerbockers. Derrick Rose and Joe Kim didn't really play this preseason for different reasons. Carmelo looked all right in the beginning because he's Carmelo. Carmelo scores bucket. He gets buckets. That's what he does. But as a team, you even heard like Derrick Rose after the game talking about how, well, he didn't really say it this way, but based on my translation, it just sounded like we didn't know what the hell's going on out there. They were talking about running the damn triangle. We don't know. I wanted to run pick and roll every damn play because I guess the thing that makes most sense in getting the natural mismatch is Derrick Rose running pick and roll with Porzingis because the dude is 7 foot whatever, and no one got that type of skill set at that height. But I guess Hornacek and Phil are still trying to incorporate the triangle and everything. And it's like with me, it's kind of time. It's time to LIG with that, man. Everybody, you gave it your chance, but we now know it's not the system. Totally, it's the system coupled with players like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. But they're going to try to keep jamming that round peg into that square hole or vice versa, I guess. I don't know what the hell is going on. But, yeah. Oh, I am Nodo's in the building. He's in the chat room answering the question of the day. It's just one game, bro. Can we see a couple of weeks of gameplay before it said a team is not a playoff team or not? Oh, you talking about the Knicks? Oh, no, I ain't even basing it on this year. I'm just basing it on the fact that they're the Knicks, dog. You know what I mean? Like, the Knicks are the team that I look at like this. You want me to believe you can do something? Do it. I feel the same way about the Atlanta Hawks. I loved watching the Hawks play the last couple of years. I don't know what they're going to look like this year, and I'm not going to be able to find out till like tomorrow what they're going to look like in a real ball game this year. And also shout out to Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder just signed a 4-year contract extension right before I got on the air tonight. But yeah, those are the type of teams. The Clippers are another team like that. That I'm like, if you want me to believe that you can do something, do it. Until then, I'm gonna keep believing that you're the same team you always been. You understand? So that's kind of way. That's why I'm saying what I say, and that's why when Rob says I think the Knicks are a playoff team, he said that he thinks the Knicks are a playoff team, but not the Hawks. Again, for those of you who don't know Rob, my former co-host from the Sports Kings. Rob is he's a huge Atlanta everything fan, but he's more pessimistic than I am, like by a long shot, because his pessimism comes with emotional attachment. I have none. I'm dead inside. I have none. I'm more just philosophical with my pessimism. He's like, nope, you scorned me once, you burned me once, you traded Dominique. That's all I need to know. No more. I'll no longer have faith in you. And whatever reason for that being with the Falcons and the Braves, he's the same way with all the teams. But me, I think the Hawks are a playoff team. I don't think that's good enough. I think they've always been a playoff team. Who gives a damn? See, now that's my pessimism. Like, I don't give a damn. You the 7th, 8th seed every year. Now you putting up flyers and billboards like, yeah, we made the playoffs 8 years in a row. All right. You won 35 games. Stop it. You know what I mean? Stop it. Speaking of winning games, and then the other thing about the Knicks before I move on, they just don't, like, everything seems to be like we have the same jersey on, but D Rose is like, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do what I do. Carmelo's like, I'm going to do what I do. Porzingis is like, what y'all want me to do? And it's not really this succinct type thing that you might want to label as a team. And then it was last night, the game I wanted to stay up and watch, but I ended up having a DVR like the last quarter of the games and watch it this morning. I ain't even watched the whole thing. It was over. Like, I just wanted to see if the Warriors were gonna hit them with one of those, Warrior spurts. And then when I ain't see that, I just turned the DVR off and was like, all right, let me find something else to do. For those of you who was hiding under a rock all day or living under a rock all day today, the Warriors got it pushed in. I mean, way in by the Spurs. 29 points. And it looked worse than that in a lot of different ways. Last year, the team that won 73 games, right? But they went home empty-handed at the end of the season, and that was a big topic of contention for a lot of people. Like, I had Kenny Anderson on my show. And Kenny Anderson was like, that 73 don't mean nothing. And I was like, Kenny, how? How don't that mean? It's 73 wins out of 82. That's got to mean something. You know what I mean? But man said don't to a lot of people, and a lot of people felt that way with him. That the 73 didn't mean anything. So I I'll venture to say this year, maybe they get 65 wins. But I think this team's ultimate, the greatness will be measured in not these projections of, like, you remember early on in the off season, they were projected to go by some computer program 83-0. That's ridiculous, right? If you didn't hear me, 83-0. There's 82 games in the season. For the slow folks, I don't want to bring the show to a screeching halt because you can't understand what I'm saying. So all that stuff is kind of unrealistic. The one thing you know about this team is what? They got shot makers. They got shot makers everywhere on the starting lineup, right? Take Zaza Pachulia out. Like, he just in there for some gooning. We know him from being here in the city of Atlanta. He there to do some gooning in the middle. The other dudes are there to get buckets, and when dudes ain't getting buckets, Clay didn't really get buckets last night. Steph did all right, but he only shot like 30% from three. That's where he get his money at. KD did his thing. And the thing that I noticed last night, too, that KD's going to bring, and I saw this during the preseason, he's going to bring a different element to that team because he's going to think about what they got. They got Clay, they got Steph, they got Draymond. But they don't really have guys that can just be like, all right, if you're going to guard me, let's rock and roll. Like Steph will hit some amazing shots on dudes and make dudes look real silly. But KD is just, he's physically imposing. Like, he's the guy that can get to any spot on the floor and get the shot he wants. And the only thing you can do as a defender is say, you know what, I hope he misses. You can't contest it. He's too long and too tall. You can stay in front of him, but all he's gonna do is hit you with that one leg fadeaway or whatever. He did that on Tony Parker. I think his first basket was that one leg fadeaway against Tony Parker. And as he's shooting it, I'm like, why are you fading away against Tony Parker? Then it goes in, and I'm like, reminded, like, he's that dude. That's why he can do that. You know what I mean? So I think that's gonna be an offensive adjustment that they're gonna have to make, and that's gonna get made. Like, we're going to see, they got the Pelicans next. We don't really know what the Pelicans are going to be, but that's who they got next. And we're going to see games that all these dudes are just dripping wet. You know what I mean? They just going to be soaked. Everybody's going to be knocking down shots, and it's going to look embarrassing for the other team. Those games are going to come, but then they're also going to be games like yesterday. They weren't playing the Nets. That's the Spurs, cuz. That's a good Spurs team, and it's a team that's been together. Patty Mills and Tony Parker and Kawhi, and this is DA's second year. Oh, excuse me, L.A. David Aldridge is the dude with the microphone. LaMarcus Aldridge, this is his second year. Manu, like, these are dudes who've been there. So you're not playing just like some team that was thrown together on the first night, like that bum ass Knicks squad. No, this is a real basketball team with a real basketball coach, and they showed what the difference is. And sometimes, I kind of put this on my notes today. Sometimes you gotta taste the stew, right? When you're cooking, you gotta taste it to know what you need to add and what you need to fix and what you need to adjust. And the taste that the Warriors got yesterday, they ain't gonna like it. They gonna need to add some things. They're gonna do some things, especially defensively, with the communications on defense. People are being real basic when they start talking about rim protectors, as though Andrew Bogut and Festus Ezeli was like knocking people's stuff out the box. Nah. And I understand the difference in defensive philosophy when you don't have that guy there. But this team is long enough and it should be athletic enough to be able to play good perimeter defense the way the Hawks did like 2 years ago. Have active hands where the rim protector is kind of nullified because your hands are so active. You're communicating on defense. You're switching. You're trapping. You're doing all the things that you should do. And that stuff comes from playing with each other more and more and more. I'm reading a Fox Sports article earlier. They talk about concern with cohesion. Now, here's what I think about with the cohesion. Again, dudes who get buckets, they're going to get buckets. You know what I mean? So the cohesion part is not really that big of a deal to me. More so than anything, the bench needs to find cohesion. Because last year you already knew what it was. You had AI, you had Sean Livingston, I call him mid-range shouty. You had guys like Mo Spates that can come off the bench and give you buckets. Now these are the dudes who need to get to know each other more. These bench guys that they got, and every time I saw a dude that I didn't know, like shooting shots yesterday, I can only say why. Why are you doing that? Who you think you is? Just because you got that blue and gold jersey on, you can just start shooting jump shots and they gonna go in? Man, no. People need to know their roles, man. And I think the guys last year absolutely knew their roles. So the cohesion is gonna have to be fixed. I mentioned the defense already. The communication on defense wasn't there, and that's usually headed up by Draymond Green. Like, he's usually the guy who heads up their defensive efforts. And of course, last year they were a very deep team. You can't really fix that. It's just going to be what it is. So collectively as a team, they're going to have to find a way to remedy that. And then they got punked on the offensive glass. We saw that a bunch last year at times when they went small. They got punked on the offensive glass. Also, that's something that can be fixed. Like, when you're small, everybody got to go to the glass. Folks can't be leaking out and all that kind of stuff. You got to go to the glass and make sure it's an effort thing. And that's something, again, that Draymond Green usually heads up. You know what I'm saying? So while all the talk is going to be about, Kevin Durant is here now, Steph Curry should be healthy now, Clay should get better looks. I'm the person for the last 2 years, 3 years, or now this will be the third year, that you're going to hear a common theme from me. It's just that it starts with KD. With KD. It starts with Draymond. What they want to do, it starts with Draymond. How their ability to speed the game up, it's because Draymond is able to play the 5 and rebound the basketball and then push the basketball off the rim and get you them transition threes that you're looking for. But I think they let these dudes shoot. I had that here. They let these dudes shoot like 60-something%. They had like 64 points in the first half. Kawhi hit them for 35. By the way, the guy who finished second in the MVP voting last year wasn't LeBron James. It was Kawhi Leonard. Now, that may be one of those things that's kind of controversial to people, but whatever. It's a fact. It is what it is. So it just kind of fortifies the point I was making earlier that this ain't no bum squad that did this to them. Now, what they did, you feel me? Like, what they did, or how they did it, I should say, that was the bigger problem. You know what I mean? Like, 30 points ain't the move. But like KD said, it was smack in the face. You know what I mean? That smack in the face is sometimes what you need. And this can't be a season about winning 74 games or winning 73 again. This can't be that. There's got to be a season about winning the championship. There's got to be a season about, finding a way to beat LeBron James and Kyrie Irving and Tristan Thompson, who, by the way, I already talked about this on Monday, but I'm not going to let it go. The KKK, the Kardashian coochie curse, it's going to be real now. Like, maybe LeBron has the power to counteract it, but I don't know. We've seen it work. We've seen it work. Seen it work its magic too many times for people to feel like it's not a real thing. Shout out to Barber's Sports Talk Podcast, the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, checking in for the first time. I don't ever remember seeing you guys in the chat room. Appreciate you checking in, man. I'm talking right now about the Golden State Warriors and this whole mentality that, oh my God, the sky's falling. It's not. You know what I mean? It's gonna be all right. I think it's gonna be all right. Now, holler at me, in a couple months, weeks or so, and then we'll figure it out again at that point. But as a fan, I'm just like, I wanted to watch some good basketball, and I saw some, but everybody was wearing black. I wanted to see the guys in black play good basketball, and I wanted to see the guys in the blue and gold play good basketball. And it's hard. That's why I had to go to sleep. Like, I ain't had no problem staying up to watch it, but it started getting bad, and I was like, all right, man, just in case something happened, let me hit this record button on this DVR, and it was just more of the same. It wasn't nothing. Steph was over there on the bench with the gas face, and everybody was looking bewildered. These new dudes on the bench, James Michael McAdoo, he ain't new, but he gonna be playing this year, which is not a good thing. And Verajao and these cats, I think I'm good, man. I'm good on that whole situation. It's the One Mike with Big Mike show here. Spreaker.com is where you're hearing me. I'm also on the Spreaker app and live on TuneIn, and of course my website, onemikewithbigmike.com. Don't have the video stream pumping today. Something's wrong. Something's been wrong with this laptop camera, man. And, you know, it just hit me at the most inopportune time today. So you just gotta deal with looking at the kid or listening to the kid today. I guess I should say you don't have to deal with looking at me today. Better for you, I guess. You can text the show at 404-902-8104. You're going to need that number because my man Matt Lutovsky, fantasy football expert from the Sporting News, is going to be joining me coming up next. So you get your fantasy football questions lined up. Let me know who you got going against who, in what format. And my man Matt, he'll hook you up. Matt's something like a genius. You can also jump inside this live interactive chat room if you go to Spreaker or the Spreaker app, or you go to onemikewithbigmike.com. Click on that little thought bubble like my man Peter Quill has, like Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast has, like I Am No Dose has. Just click on that little thought bubble. You'll be right up in there. You guys can join in on the foolishness. I do have some foolishness today, too. At some point today, I got to talk about Trick Daddy. I ain't even talking about him. You know what I mean? I ain't even talking about Trick Daddy. Just I got to talk about my sisters. You know what I mean? And their response to Trick Daddy. Yeah, we'll do that. How much time I got? I got a couple minutes before I got to take this break. So let me finish up this conversation about the Warriors. As a team, this is why I was so bad, because it's the team that, you know, I know cliche people say, you live with the 3, you die with the 3. Don't fool yourself into thinking that these dudes ain't going to get buckets. They shot 21% from 3 yesterday. Don't hold your nose or hold your breath hoping that happens on a consistent basis. It won't. It's too many dudes that get buckets on this team. The bench, again, is a problem. A dude like Jonathan Simmons, who, exactly, Google him. Jonathan Simmons came off the San Antonio bench on the road for 20 points. That's not usually how the thing works. Usually, your bench at home, especially in front of what's supposed to be a raucous crowd, maybe they getting spoiled too, by the way. But in front of a raucous crowd in Oracle, your bench is supposed to bring your energy, and that's another, I guess, subsidiary of them just not knowing each other that well yet, and something that's going to have to be developed as the season progresses. Fast break points, something that you don't necessarily hear a lot about when you're talking about the San Antonio Spurs. They're more methodical, more surgeon-like. Nah, fast break points. They got to give them to them. You want to know why those fast break points were there? The Golden State Warriors for years now, sloppy with the basketball, man. Very sloppy with the basketball and passing the basketball. And when you play a team like the San Antonio Spurs, because watch, Friday, right? They'll play the Pelicans, and you'll see a lot of the same things from Steph and Clay and those dudes. And then watch, they end up winning by like 15. Because, I mean, it's a superior team. But when you play a well-coached team, a team that's about executing, you can't F around. You can't F around with the basketball. And as the season progresses, they're going to have to know that. We saw it in the playoffs last year, right? Steph in inopportune times going behind the back. And not even inopportune, because that's how they played the whole year. He's going behind the back and so forth, and bad things end up happening. So, no, the sky's not falling. This team is still going to be a fun team to watch. I'm not really sure still at this point why people are so hopeful that they lose or that they fail. I don't know what that's all about. I think, again, man, y'all gotta stop being sheep to that ESPN machine that tells you that there's a black hat and a white hat. There's a villain and there's this good guy. Nah, ain't no damn. KD ain't no damn villain. I heard a dude today say he broke up with Russell Westbrook on text. Stop it. These are two grown men. You know what I mean? One dude found a better job, or a job that he felt was a better job somewhere else, paying him more money. The same thing any one of you douchebags would have done. Better job, working around better people. Not saying that Russ is a bad person, but yeah, man, Oklahoma City, San Francisco. Case closed. More money and a chance to be better at your job and do it in a more efficient way. Like, look how efficient that dude was yesterday. You didn't really see him force a bunch of shots. Last year, he led the league in taking shots while the shot clock was running down. You don't want that life. You know what I mean? If you don't have to have it. Russ is he's just an obstinate dude. Like, he's like a bad kid. You know what I mean? So if you start telling Russ that you can't do this, You see what happened? You see what he did? Immediately, he could have went into free agency this summer and got paid. That dude was like, whatever, let me sign this extension right now. No. Why would you do that? But that's him, and I'm going to watch that dude play tonight while I'm talking to you. I love watching that dude play basketball. All right, let's get off the basketball. Let's get into some fantasy football. My man Matt Lutovsky coming up in about 90 seconds here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Don't forget, you can catch the show on demand on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music. You can also catch it on YouTube. Only the video today, though. The video today's show. Also on Spreaker, the Spreaker app. Tune in. And, of course, OneMicWithBigMike.com. I'll be right back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at OneMicWithBigMike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
Damn right. It is a hump day right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show, heard on Spreaker.com. I'm also on the Spreaker app. And, of course, I'm on TuneIn and the One Mic with BigMike.com website live right now. No video today. Something's going on with the video stream, so no video today. I'm sparing you guys the agony of looking in my crazy, stupid mug. But the one thing we do have today, and by the way, make sure you guys are getting your questions in right now from Matt Lutovsky, Sporting News, our fantasy expert at 404-902-8104, or jump on in this live interactive chat room and have Matt answer your questions. We ain't going to hold Matt long today because we got some baseball going on. They kicked off this World Series game an hour early for the weather, so we're going to try to get Matt in and out of here tonight. So get your questions in right now.
It's time to talk fantasy football.
Let's have some fun. Let's go.
It's time to get those lineups set.
End zone caught. Touchdown. Yeah! Yes, sir.
With Matt Lutovsky of Sporting News.
Put him on the board. Championship.
On One Mic with Big Mike.
Make sure you guys are following Matt at M. Lutovsky, MLutovsky. I can't see, Matt. Have they scored already?
Cubs have, yeah.
What did that say? 3?
1-0.
1?
1-0. Yep.
Okay, so here we go. All right, so this week, Matt, fantasy football, 6 buys, man. We got 6 buys, so we got no Gurley, no Ajayi after those back-to-back 200-yard games. We got no Bell, no Brown. A lot of guys taking a week off. What does that mean for us as fantasy football owners? What do we do with ourselves?
Man, it means you got to dig deep, and you got to kind of hold your nose and play some guys you don't want to play. That's just the way it is. I mean, I'll say this, though. The nice thing about this week with 6 teams on bye is that quarterback and tight end and really defense aren't affected that much. There's not a lot of good quarterbacks, tight ends, or defenses on any of those 6 teams. The one thing we miss on with is people playing against some of those teams, like teams playing against the 49ers and some things like that to create sleepers. But not a lot missing from those positions. It's really running back and wide receiver that are really thinned out. So, yeah, you're going to have to dig deep a little bit. You throw in some of these injuries that have popped up, and it's going to be a tough week. There's going to be some ugly lineups out there for sure.
Speaking of injuries, some guys coming back. Got Moncrief in Indianapolis. Dez is coming back. What are those guys? What effect are those guys going to have on the guys around them, guys like T.Y. Hilton, guys like Cole Beasley or Dak Prescott in a situation like that? And are there other guys like that we should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, well, I think that, the first part of your question, it's always tough to say. I mean, it's easy to assume that, Dez Bryant's going to come in and get targets and take a lot of value away from other Cowboys receivers. That certainly might be true. I don't think Beasley's going to be affected that much, though. I think he's kind of the possession guy he has as a role. I would think Terrence Williams would be affected more.
Okay.
Moncrief, though, I think will come in and really could affect Jack Doyle. Kind of been a breakout tight end there, and people like him a lot. He's got a brutal matchup this week, and I see him as the guy really kind of losing some targets and losing some value in Indianapolis. But, those are the main guys for sure that are coming back, because it doesn't sound like Doug Martin's going to be ready, and I don't think LaShawn McCoy is going to play. If he does, it's going to be probably the same as last week, which is a nightmare for fantasy owners. The other situation like that, it looks like both Theo Riddick and Dwayne Washington were going to be back. I mean, you remember last week I said I really like Dwayne Washington. He wound up not playing, unfortunately. So it kind of looks like he's kind of snake bitten this year, is never going to get his week in the sun, but Riddick's going to go right back to doing what he already did, and certainly be a good PPR play, but even standard leagues too.
Well, Matt, I don't focus on your misses. I only focus on your makes. I'll leave that up to you.
That's what I like to do too.
Speaking of misses and makes, this kid Jordan Howard up in Chicago. Now, you mentioned him early. When I had Jeremy Langford before he got hurt, you said this kid is going to end up starting. But over the last couple of weeks, this kid Carey has taken all his carries. So is Carey someone that you can see fantasy owners taking a chance on, especially in a week like this where we're at our bare minimums?
Yeah, well, pun intended with bare minimum there, I hope. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. Howard just sort of fell out of favor, kind of for no reason. And Carey stepped up, and now it sounds like Langford might be back this week, if not this week, next week. That's a mess. I mean, that is a mess right there. I really wouldn't want much to do with it at all if I could avoid it. I think maybe long term I might want to go back to Langford at this point. But yeah, the problem this week too is they're playing the Vikings.
Yeah,
so
there's that.
It's real tough to try to mine some value out of that Chicago backfield this week. And I think right now, I rank them. I rank Carey the first of the three, but again, I'm talking about holding your nose and playing someone. I mean, that's the definition of it. A guy who might be splitting carries with two other dudes against one of the best defenses in the league.
Right.
I mean, you can't expect much in that situation.
And also, there's no way that I'm that clever. The pun definitely wasn't intended. He's Matt Lutovsky.
Well, it worked, man.
He's been Matt Lutovsky of the Sporting News. He's our weekly fantasy expert. Make sure you guys are following him on Twitter at @MLutovsky, and make sure you're definitely checking out his fantasy football work on the Sporting News website. And just do what I do. Just go to Google, type in Matt, Lutovsky. The first entry will be his stuff on fantasy football. I read it every week. He talks about the sleepers. He talks about must starts and must sits. A guy that I saw that you don't like as much as a lot of people. Matt, your namesake, I guess, Matt Stafford. Tell us why you don't really like Matt Stafford. As you have him ranked number 10, so it's not like you got him ranked at number like 30, but a lot of people are really high on Matt Stafford, but not you. Why is that?
No, I mean, this was, three different sites on Monday, I think, our own Sporting News, Yahoo, and ESPN, all had, like, the same column. Is Matthew Stafford elite? Look at his stats over the past X number of games, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, I'm a Lions fan. I watch every single Lions game.
Right.
And I've always liked Matt Stafford, to be fair. I've always liked his moxie and all that kind of stuff they talk about, X Factors, quarterback staff. I think he's very talented. But, let's not go overboard. Like, yeah, he came back and beat the Redskins last week. All right, that's great. Like, I need to see him beat a good team on the road before I'm getting too excited here this season. And for fantasy purposes, the reason he's 10 is because he's facing the number 2 pass defense this week. He's on the road, where he's typically not as good. It is in a dome, which helps. He's not outdoors. But nonetheless, on the road against the number 2 pass defense. And also look at the game log. 4 games with 3 or more touchdowns, 3 games with 1 or less. That's a boom or bust situation that, I mean, I don't like to deal with. I like quarterbacks who are always getting 2. I like high floors, High ceilings are great too. I love high ceilings. But high floors a lot of times are even better. And Matt Stafford just a little too up and down. So I think he'll be fine. We still have him in the starter tier. But, there's a lot of other guys with really good matchups. Guys who are similar, like Russell Wilson, who's been struggling. has a great matchup. Aaron Rodgers has a great matchup. Carson Palmer, great matchup. I'd rather play them if, it comes down to a choice between the two.
Now, this running back quandary that we talked about a little bit earlier with all these injuries is kind of hitting the Atlanta Falcons and their two-head monster. We got Tevin Coleman with one of those tricky hamstring injuries, just like LaShawn McCoy. And apparently today, Devontae Freeman had a no-contact jersey on at practice. For the owners of those guys, or if someone's like you and owns both of them, how are you handling that this week?
I tell you what, I think Freeman will be okay. Here's the thing. I wish I could just sleep through every Wednesday, because every Wednesday is when it just hits the fan. And
that's what I do.
No one practices on Wednesday, right? No one practices. All the veterans get the day off, and we don't know if it's legit or not.
Right.
It's always like, well, he took the day. I don't know, because everyone doesn't practice on Wednesday. So I wish I didn't even have to deal with trying to figure out if the Freeman thing's legit. We know Coleman's legit. I'd be very surprised if he played. But they don't have much behind them. They just signed with Stephen Ridley. Is that who they just signed?
Yeah, Stephen Ridley.
Someone like that. Yeah, blast from the past. They don't have much else. So I'm gonna right now just assume Freeman's okay and he's gonna play. But yeah, in those situations, it's real tough. And I think in Cincinnati it's similar where Jeremy Hill keeps leaving games early because of chest injuries. It seems pretty clear that Giovanni Bernard is their number one guy, despite Jeremy Hill having the even bigger game last week. But, there's situations like that where it's a little easier. But, yeah, I would have felt a lot better about things if Devontae Freeman had just practiced today.
Before we get to the questions from the listeners, who are people running to the waiver wire to get this week? Like, who do you see flying off the waiver wires this week?
Obviously with the C.J. Anderson news, Devontae Booker, if he already wasn't on the team now, is like must-own, and people are kind of head over heels for him, and I think deservedly so. I really like him and think he's going to be good. But the other guys, Devontae Adams after that big Thursday night, people are excited about, but it's just a lot of these backup running backs, like Mike Gillislee, if he wasn't already on a team. I think Matt Asiata now has really kind of established himself as the Vikings' lead back. Jerry McKinnon keeps getting hurt and really not doing well. And Asiata is playing pretty well. He's catching the ball out of the backfield. I think he's a good one, too, for sure, kind of stepping up. But this was sort of a light week in terms of, must-get waiver wire guys. There really wasn't a lot. And the other situation is in Washington with Matt Jones' fumbling problem and kind of getting benched. And then he didn't practice today. So Chris Thompson, I think, very popular waiver pickup for good reason. He's established himself as a higher floor than in the past, but it was very similar to Darren Sproles. It was all or nothing. And then I think Robert Kelly, who's a preseason darling, hasn't done much, stepped up last week, got a short touchdown. He can really step up, I think, and take over that role in Washington as their lead back. So I also think he's worth a pickup.
All right, let's move on here. Talking right now with Matt Lutovsky of the Sporting News. He's our weekly fantasy expert. Make sure you guys are following him on Twitter at @MLutovsky, MLutovsky. All right, here we've got some questions for you. Someone wants to know about Dak versus Philly, or Alex Smith versus Indianapolis, or Cousins versus Cincinnati, or Bortles versus Tennessee. Who do you like out of those matchup situations?
I'm assuming those are four dudes on the waiver wire for this person, and they got maybe Roethlisberger. I don't know who they would have had. It might be on bye, but it's tough because Dak probably the highest floor, probably the safest to get you, your 15 points, give or take. I do think Smith's a little better this week. I like his matchup a little more. He can run the ball a little bit. That helps him out too, kind of keep his points up, which is true of Dak, of course. But I think Smith with that matchup. You kind of saw what he did last week. He had the great matchup, put up like 220 yards and 2 touchdowns, which I think he can do again, something similar. Prescott, he's facing. Look, the Eagles have given up the fewest fantasy points of 2 quarterbacks of any team in the league. So they do well. They've regressed a little bit the past couple weeks, but I think they're going to be tough for Dak. That's going to be a real fun game to watch with the 2 rookie quarterbacks.
How do you see the Titans D versus the Jags, or the Jets D versus the Browns this week?
Yeah, pretty similar spot.
Mm-hmm.
I would take the Titans. They've just been better this year, and they let a lot of people down last week. I get that, but they're one of the top teams in producing sacks. And look, that Thursday game with those two teams, that game is going to be sloppy. We are going to see turnovers and just bad play.
Yeah.
That's why they're not even putting that game on CBS. So even though I think the Jets, have a good matchup too, sounds like McCown's going to be back. He's a little better. So I would go with the Titans. They've just been better this year.
All right, a couple more for you before I let you go. Rivers at Denver and another Dak Prescott.
See, I would go with Rivers there. I mean, you obviously worry about him in Denver. He had 178 yards and a touchdown a couple weeks ago against the Broncos. The caveat I'll put on that is both his receivers didn't practice again. People not practicing on a Wednesday. Both Travis Benjamin, who was banged up going into last week's game, and Tyrell Williams, who had the big game, didn't practice. If even one of those guys is out, I would switch to Prescott. But I just think Rivers kind of earned the benefit of the doubt at this point. He has big play receivers. He's got two good tight ends that he can throw the ball to and a decent receiving back. So I think he's just kind of the better play.
And the last question is about Delaney Walker. Delaney Walker's got Jacksonville tomorrow night, and Jimmy Graham has New Orleans on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that one's close. You got to go with Jimmy Graham in the homecoming. You know, he's been great. I like Walker, obviously. He gets a lot of targets every week. He's a solid player, but you know, getting Jimmy Graham back home against that defense, I just think he's really gonna have a good game.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's Matt Lutovsky of the Sporting News. He joins us each and every Wednesday to break down fantasy football and get you guys ready for the weekend. Follow him on Twitter at @mlutovsky. I'm gonna let him go here so he can get his baseball in. Before I let you go, though, I've been doing this every week, and I think I just continue. My relationship with baseball is, you know, the way I describe it is that, like, baseball and I will be cordial, but we'll never be friends because so many things that I don't understand, not even about the game itself, about the auxiliary things. Like, for example, the Cubs won 103 games this year, and they start the World Series on the road. After 100-whatever-year hiatus of winning the damn thing, they got to start on the road. I want to get you, as a guy who's really into baseball, I want to get your perspective on that whole nonsense, the All-Star game, deciding who gets home field in the World Series.
No, I mean, it is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. I'm going to say this, by the way. I'm not as excited about this game as I am about the Timberwolves opener. For the record,
my man.
I'm pumped up for that season. But, no, yeah, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. And it's one of these things that hasn't made sense since they started it. As near as I can tell, no one's liked it since they started it. And here we are, 13 years in, still doing it. Because that's baseball, right? Because it's an old game, and it's a slow game. And it's a game that old people like more than anyone. And it's boring. That said, I still love it. And, you know, go figure. I sort of, I guess, have a relationship with it in some ways similar to you, where I love it, but I also, you know, when you truly love something, you see its flaws more than anything. So yeah, it's really stupid, and I wish it wasn't the case, but you know, it is what it is at this point, the old saying. So we'll see what happens.
I know I said that was the last thing, but I lied. I'm a liar. Because you made me think of something when you said slow to change. The box, like the strike zone box. I saw this piece on HBO Real Sports the other day, how they tried it out at a minor league game. Like, I like the box. I like to know, and I like to make sure that it's right. Where are you as far as the traditionalism goes, as far as not having technology take the balls and the strikes away from the human element?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. Sometimes I think about it and think, you know, you're opening a can of worms, and I haven't fully thought about kind of the slippery slope you go on when you open that door. But I just, in a vacuum, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for someone, you know, kind of having a uniform, like, well, hey, machine says it's a strike, you know. I'm kind of all for that. I don't mind it one bit, and it certainly would make things. I mean, we saw it last night's game. I mean, the strike zone didn't seem to be consistent at all. It seemed like Corey Kluber was getting strikes on the corners, and Lester wasn't, and that certainly played into things, you know. So it's unfortunate, and you don't like seeing those things happen, but you know, sadly, at where we're at right now, it's part of the game, and it doesn't mean it should be, but it is for now, and I could see that being cleaned up for sure.
There it is, Matt. Enjoy your baseball tonight. Timberwolves going to the playoffs this year?
Oh, my God, I hope so, man. We've waited too long. There's a big one, man. Grizzlies. They're another team they're going to be fighting with for that 7-8 spot in the playoffs. They need it right off the bat. Must win. I'm calling it.
My man, enjoy your game, brother.
All right, man. You too. Thanks for having me.
That's Matt Lutovsky, Sporting News fantasy football expert. He joins me each and every Wednesday right here on the One Mike with Big Mike show. Follow him. I'm telling you guys, man, follow this guy on Twitter at M Lutovsky. We got to get Matt on like some other social media situations. You know what I mean? Like he's the last. I thought I was gonna be the last human being alive that only dealt with Twitter alone. But since I started messing with Renee, now I got like everything under the book, all kind of social media ridiculousness. I don't even know. I got a Tumblr. That Tumblr, right? Don't know nothing about it. Have no idea what it is, what it's for. I just know that I post everything that I post on Instagram to Tumblr. So there's that. All right, before we get back to all the sports stuff, we got time for that. We got some baseball going on right now. It's so small on my screen, I can't see what the score is, but Matt told me it's Cubs up 1-0. Got some basketball going on ESPN. I saw something today on the old social media, right? And apparently your man Trick Daddy Dollar of You Know Now and Trick Love the Kids fame, he, I don't know what you want to call it. He kind of just let out this or posted this ghetto public service announcement to black women that you need to get your stuff together because white women and Hispanic women are coming. I was like, what the hell? Like, I kind of, that's kind of stuff I just kind of laugh off, because with everything, right, you have to consider the source. And I'm looking to see, okay, am I like the outsider in this, or is this one of those things that's going to end up being something that it's not supposed to be? And apparently it is. Apparently black women have gotten offended by Trick Daddy. And somebody... And I'm glad Renee is always listening to the show, because sometimes she's the estrogen portion of the show that can bring some perspective, especially to situations like this, where I just don't get it. Like, why does something like this that comes out of the mouth of that man, this ain't the president, this ain't Barack, like, you know what? I was down at Magic City the other day, and I saw the asses on some of those white girls and some of those Hispanics, and I came home and I told Michelle, I was like, no, this is Trick Daddy. Like, tell the truth. Two things. How many of y'all even knew Trick Daddy was still alive? Like, serious. Like, was like 100% sure. Like, if somebody walked up to you like 2 days ago and was like, man, you heard Trick Daddy dead? You wouldn't been like, man, you know what? I thought he might have been. Yeah, like, just hearing anything from this dude is like, that's surprising. He's alive or not locked up. But now all of a sudden, he says something ridiculous about black women, and it needs to be addressed. Black women, like some chick told me on Facebook today, she was like, this how the Tea Party got started because people ignored stupidity. I was like, well, that may be kind of a stretch. You know what I mean? That may be kind of like leaping a little bit, this political group to Trick Daddy saying white girls are getting ass shots. So black women are in danger of losing what? I don't know. That's some of the most incredibly ridiculous stuff I've ever heard. And the fact that it would invoke emotion into otherwise rational people. You know what I mean? And then when you start hearing this excuse, he's not the only one that thinks that way. Well, but he's the one you're reacting to, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the percentage is of black dudes that's like, you know what? I ain't never thought about no Mexican bride, but look at that ass on that Puerto Rican or whatever. That's two different things, I know. But, yeah, like, people like what they like, for whatever reason. And you guys have heard me say on this show plenty of times, like, that whole, like, objectification of women type thing that men and women battle about and all this kind of stuff. It means nothing to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do what I do, and other people are going to do what they do. And at the same time, there are people in this world, women, right, who profit. And the objectification is their hustle. What I'm supposed to do, knock that? I'm not in the business of knocking people's hustle. You know what I mean? This chick, Black China, she got a Kardashian now. Somebody told me one time, I think Rob told me one time where she came from, and I don't remember per se, but because I remember thinking that she was a rapper. Like, she was, when I heard the name, I thought it was like a rapper name, but apparently she was nobody, a stripper or something, right? Her and Amber Rose, and they just hustled through. whatever, man. That's, everybody trying to do their thing, man. Everybody trying to get it how they live. And if it's something that you can live with, who cares if anybody else can live with it? That's why I don't understand the whole, like, the slut shaming thing. It's like, I thought, like, part of being a slut is that you weren't ashamed of what you do. You know what I mean? It's like, no one can shame you because that's part of what it is. Like, I'm going to bang who I want to bang. So what? Because I'm a woman. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm all the way live with that. But apparently now there's a such thing as slut shaming because, yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Like, I saw a porn star. This is real stuff, too. I saw a porn star get, I guess, mad at being slut shamed. And I was like, wait, what? But that's how you get your bread, though. Yeah, it's weird to me. And I think now that I'm an alien in 2016 and I don't understand half of the stuff that people get offended by and people fall out from and all that kind of stuff. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Just do your thing, man. Whatever your thing is, if whatever it is bringing you happiness and it's not hurting anybody else, run it. Let's go. You know what I mean? Because ain't that what we all trying to do? At some level, we trying to find a consistent source of happiness in this life before it's over with. So if some chick finds her happiness as superficial as you think it may be by getting breast implants and getting her face fixed, like every day I see something on my my Facebook feed about, somebody trying to be an investigative reporter on whether one of these Kardashian girls had plastic surgery. I don't care. You know what I mean? I feel the same way I felt about weave back in the day. Remember when black women used to try to try to lie about their weave? And like my perspective was always the same about that. Like, just as long as it looked good, you know what I mean? As long as you ain't got like the natural in the front and then this slick, silky blonde ponytail in the back, run it. Same way about like your nails and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not my preference as a dude. You know what I mean? Like, my woman wears her hair natural. But, for whatever it's worth, I remember having a conversation with a young lady that used to host a show after me and Rob's show named Princess Monique. And she had her hair done one day and she was like hella fly. And we was still on the air when I saw her. And I was like, Princess Monique got her weave all tight and looking good. And Rob gave me this look. Like, N-word, what? And I'm like, this is 2000. This was like 5 years ago, so maybe like 2011. I'm like, we still on that? Like, a dude can't compliment a woman on her weave. I'm supposed to act like I don't know what it is. Yeah, and it was hot. You know what I mean? She had a ponytail and it was hot. So I complimented her. I ain't say her hair looked nice because I knew it was weave. I said her weave is hot. I feel the same way about that as I feel about these chicks running around with these ass shots or whatever. Like, the problem for me ain't the ass shots. It's just when they look terrible. Like, when you got, like, you got legs like olive oil and you got an ass like Nicki Minaj, just like the proportion be off. You know what I mean? But if that's your hustle, that's your IG model hustle and all that kind of stuff, yeah, run it. Like, I know what you're saying is true, Renee. Renee's in the chat room. You guys can get up in here too if you just want to go to Spreaker, SPREAKER.com, or the Spreaker app, or my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. You'll see a thought bubble icon on the streaming player. Just click on that. She's calling me a douche, and I'm only assuming she's saying I'm being a douche because I complimented the young lady on her weave. But I wasn't trying to be a douche. I was being like hella complimentary. I thought she was looking fabulous and wonderful and all those good things. But I don't know. I tell people all the time, I'm the alien. I'm the weird one, I guess. You guys are the weird ones. I'm the normal one. Because I don't act like things aren't what they are. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be a porn star and be like, hey, I'm being slut-shamed. Wait, what? How? How are you ashamed now? You know what I mean? It's weird. Just do your thing, man. Whatever your thing is, do it. And if somebody can shame you about it, maybe you shouldn't be doing it. If you're ashamed, run it, man. But yeah, I just wanted to holler at that because apparently Trick Daddy is the new standard for for black women's self-esteem. I can't believe he said that. I can. Like, what could come out of Trick Daddy's mouth? It absolutely means, what the hell has just happened? This show is now officially off the rails. Renee just said, because you're a porn star, it doesn't mean you're a slut. Do you know what a porn star does? I'm going to take a break. And I'm going to come back, and we're going to talk about some more sports, and I'm going to get off of this, because this is exactly what this type of stuff I'm talking about. Because I'm talking about a woman, it's like, now I got to find a way to defend this. There's no way to defend that. You're literally, that's what you are. You're a slut because you get paid to take penis. We're going to take a break. About 90 seconds. About 2 minutes, actually, here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. It's being heard on Spreaker. Spreaker has an app. I'm also on TuneIn. And, of course, OneMicWithBigMike.com. Also, the show is heard on demand on all those outlets, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. I'm not messing with you, Renee. Google Play Music, and, of course, YouTube. No Facebook Live video today. I got some technical support to take care of after the show. Damn it, man. I'll be right back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
We asked kids what it took to be a dad. This is what they had to say.
A father is always present. I mean, what real father figure can you have if they're not there?
In order to be a good dad, you need to love your son. You need to put gas in your car so you don't break down in the middle of nowhere. And you need to make them breakfast. Yep.
I mean, just to maybe play like a board game with me, or to just stay home and play some video games with me. Just to do like that one little thing is what I really look forward to.
I'm not asking him to be a perfect dad, but he should try.
He's just a constant force in my life.
There's no other type of love like a dad's love because it's not comparable to anything else.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
One mic. All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what? You, and you. One Mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike. All I need is one mic.
Hump day.
Yeah, it is. Damn right it's hump day. And we getting on over this damn hump. Renee want me to be so wrong about this, and she wants to find a way to defend porn stars. This ain't that. For someone who previously told me that she don't watch porn, you know what I mean? That she don't watch it. I do and have, and I know. You know, I've heard the women on the movies call themselves sluts. That's part of the job description. Must be slutty to do this job. Yeah, look at what's on the, when you go fill out the application, that's what it says. You must be slutty to do this job. So it's not really one of those things where you can just be like, yeah, girl power. Well, I guess it is. Because, that's what they do to get their loot. And that's what they do to come up. It's all good. I'm not being a D-bag. I'm just calling it as I see it. That's the type of thing sluts do. Or no, I don't want to say that. Whatever, you get the point I'm making. Anyway, it's time for On This Day right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here hopefully for another hour, man. I want to bounce, to be honest with you, because basketball season started, but I'm gonna hold on in there. No video tonight, no YouTube live tonight or whatever, Facebook live tonight, but you can get the audio version on YouTube on demand. You can also go to iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, TuneIn, and of course, OneMicWithBigMike.com to get the show on demand. If you missed any of the first hour, if you need to rewind and get back to Matt Lutovsky's fantasy football expertise. Also, make sure you guys text the show at 404-902-8104 if you got any thoughts on this on this Trick Daddy stuff. That's kind of somewhere morphed into pornography and porn stars, and there's other thing too. Like every broad that bangs on video doesn't get to automatically be a star. Like you're a porn actor at best, and I've used the term actor loosely. You don't get to be a star. There's certain brides and certain dudes that are stars that people know outside of that world. Every bride that get banged on television don't just get, on video, don't just get to be porn star. Anyway, that's just my little soliloquy on that. Also, you guys can jump on in the chat room and hear Renee berate me more, or read or see Renee berate me. Just click on the thought bubble that you see on the streaming player if you're listening via Spreaker, the Spreaker app. And, of course, the website, onemicwithbigmike.com. But now, let's break up this portion of the show. Yeah. Let's break this up and move on to our daily segment on this day.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
We'll talk more about what you're defending here in a minute, Renee. But first, on this day in 1869, the first American steeplechase horse race took place in Westchester, New York. I always leave these horse type things on here because I want to remember to tell you guys who haven't heard me say this before. Google the term jockey syndrome. You'll learn a lot about the state of sports today. On this day in 1887, Detroit of the National League beat the St. Louis team of the American League 10-5 in the World Series. I mean, that's 15 games. Anyway, on this day in 1950, Branch Rickey, you all know him, the guy who signed Jackie Robinson to the major leagues, re-signs as the Brooklyn Dodgers president. So they re-upped him after that. They didn't kick him out after letting the Negro in. On this day in 1974, the Cleveland Coliseum opened for the NBA's Cleveland Cavaliers, in which, I don't know if, Quicken Loans is the arena now, but, they just celebrated their first championship in a bazillion years, I guess, yesterday. On this day in 1982, Steve Carlton becomes the first pitcher to win 4 Cy Young Awards. On this day in 1993, the Carolina Panthers become the NFL's 29th franchise and the first expansion team since 1976. They've gone to 2 Super Bowls since then. On this day in 1997, the Florida Marlins win Game 7 of the 1997 World Series against the Cleveland Indians, 3-2 in 11 innings. And that was the last time the Cleveland Indians, who are now in the World Series this year, the last time they saw a World Series, but they lost it. And on this day in 2005, the Chicago White Sox of the American League defeat the Houston Astros of the National League in 4 games to win the World Series Fall Classic. This gives the team the first world championship since 1917. Apparently, ESPN forgot when they start talking about the team in baseball, Chicago baseball being without a championship. They forgot that Ozzie Guillen managed team in 2005 that won the World Series for the Chicago White Sox. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your Hump Day edition of On This Day. Renee, it's not funny how when you don't agree with me that you can't have a valid point without it being defending women. It just is very obvious that that's what you're doing because you're a person who said that you haven't watched porn, that you don't watch porn. So for you to be like, porn stars are not sluts, that's an uninformed opinion. And it can only be one reason that you have that opinion, right? Yeah, because I'm calling women sluts. It don't sound good, but I'm not just calling average women sluts. I'm calling women who are actually sluts. There can be no slut shaming if you're an actual slut. If you're an admitted slut, like if I call a crackhead, you can't be like, man, you can't be saying that about me. Of course I can. You smoke crack to get high. Moving on though. What's going on in this Cubs game, man? Because I want to make sure they're trying to decide whether the game is. They started early because there's some storms supposed to be moving in. Another reason, I wonder what the weather is in Chicago, because this game, by any normal metrics, should be played in Chicago because Chicago won 9 more games than the damn Indians. But because baseball is stupid and they do stupid things, like they won't give me the box. I know, that's what she said. They won't give me the balls in strike box. Again, what she said. So I know I don't have to listen to some blind-ass dude behind the catcher, who, by the way, look at where he's standing. Like, when you look at the baseball game, he's not even standing in the middle of the plate. He's over one of the two catcher's shoulders, which is going to change your perspective when the ball's coming in. It's like, come on, man. Technology's bailing you out. Run that, man. Let's go. A couple other things I wanted to mention about the NBA today. Some of the stuff that I'm kind of interested in seeing, not only today but throughout the year. The D League, they're trying out some new experimental rules, and I posted it on my Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike, and I want to so I can get you guys' gauge on what you think about these new rules. Let me find the article here. I'm not going to sigh because Renee says I sigh when I'm looking for things. I don't care. No, I'm playing. The new rules: each team will be entitled to a quote-unquote reset timeout in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and final 2 minutes of any overtime period. The reset timeouts do not allow teams to huddle, but otherwise mirror standard timeouts, allowing teams to advance the ball when applicable and make unlimited substitutions. If either team huddles to prevent the ball from immediately being put back into play, it will result in a delay of game being issued to the offending team. The reset timeout replaces the advance rule, which has been used in the NBA D League for the past 2 seasons. So they're kind of just using the D League guys as guinea pigs, right? So this new rule, again, I guess, because you know how the last 2 minutes of an NBA game seems like it can go on for like a half hour. It's 2 minutes, with dudes fouling and dudes calling timeouts. And now with this new rule, and it's only going to be experimental in the D League for right now. They're going to try it out there to see how it works. The teams will not be able to huddle. Like, the understanding will be you're calling this reset timeout just to advance the ball. So you advance the ball and you continue play as though it was nothing going on, right? The other rules that they're trying out, the 24-second clock will reset to 14 seconds after an offensive rebound, or when the offensive team otherwise is the first team to retain possession after the ball contacts the rim. Another attempt at speeding the game up some. But in the last 2 minutes, I guess that might result in some exciting finishes because, a team shoots the ball with the shot clock running out. The team that's winning, they get an offensive rebound. They can't just bleed another 24 seconds off of the clock. They only get 14 seconds to do whatever they're going to do. So, I don't know, maybe. I'm not going to pay attention to no D-League ball just for this, but hopefully more articles will be written as it pertains to the success rate of these things moving forward. Also, last thing, a 75-second limit on the duration of instant replay reviews has been implemented, except in circumstances where the review is for a hostile act or altercation and can lead to an ejection. There is a technical equipment problem or other atypical circumstances. See how they just threw that in at the end? The Cubs scored again. Yeah, Cubs bounce back, score again. That's all they got to do. They just got to get one on the road, just like the NBA Finals, right? You get one on the road, and then you go home and then smash. I don't know if they do 2-3-2 in baseball, though. I think it's still 2-2, 1-1-1 is how the series go. But yeah, all you want to do is you want to create one on the road. Hell yeah. And I'm not rooting for the Cubs I'm not rooting for anybody. Like, I watch baseball so ridiculously stupidly. Like, the whole time I'm like just talking to the batter, like, knock the S out the ball. And with the pitcher, I'm like, strike his ass out. That's me watching baseball. I'm not that guy, that baseball guy. Also, I saw this article today from the Undefeated, and it talks about the lack, I guess, or the diminishing number of white American players in the NBA. Essentially, the NBA is getting overrun by Negroes and foreigners. Donald Trump's worst nightmare, essentially. So, again, you guys might want to go check this article out because it's on my. I think I shared it on Facebook. If not, I'll try to remember to do it later. Either way, the article, I don't know if it's written satirically, but I found it funny that, JJ Redick, and they not like mad about it. JJ Redick is just like, damn, I look around the locker room, it's like it's just me. Yep. good boy. Nah, I'm playing. That ain't cool. I think I don't know JJ Redick, but he seems to be a pretty cool dude. But nah, it's one of those like those reversal things. But here's the thing, though: the real world still exists. Let's not get it twisted. This ain't Jackie Robinson. You know what I mean? It's like Jackie Robinson's real world and his professional world, but the same damn world. That ain't the same thing that's going on. I don't think anybody's trying to claim it is, but that's why I can joke around and laugh about it. So the article kind of talks about these dudes, JJ Redick and some of these other white players who agreed to. A couple of guys didn't because for whatever reason, it's a touchy subject. They talk about the NBA the way I talk about Major League Baseball with black people. Like, it passes the eye test. Like, you look at baseball, you're like, man, there's plenty of bros out there. Until the microphone get in their face and it's like, no habla inglés. And it's like, oh, okay, it's one of them Cuban brothers or one of them Dominican cats. Yeah, Puerto Rican dude, but it's not a bruh. It's not like, some dude from, Compton or nowhere. And that's the same thing with the NBA. It's like, you look around, you be like, man, there's plenty of white dudes. What the hell are you talking about? Nope. These dudes from like Croatia and Lithuania and Canada. I was about to say Canada. And Canada. They from there everywhere but America. And then the ones that's from America, they're like Miles and Mason Plumlee and Kyle Korver. And so it's like the question is like, where are all the white American where are all the white American basketball players? I don't know. Yeah, talk to their mamas and their daddies. They need better genes, man. You know what I mean? The same way that Trick Daddy is talking about these white girls getting ass and stuff. Well, these white boys need to get like some verticals and stuff, and whatever else. Because see, the problem is like the evolution of the basketball player. It just hadn't hit the white American basketball player. Shout out to my man Big L. He's in the building. He's in the chat room. You guys can join him in there. Just click on that little thought bubble. If you're listening to me via Spreaker or the Spreaker app, Spreaker, Spreaker, or the onemicwithbigmike.com website, just click on the little thought bubble icon. You'll be in the chat room. Don't worry about Big L. Don't worry about Renee not responding back to you. She told me she's ignoring me for the rest of the show. So she might be out looking at some TV or something. She might have bounced. So you missed it earlier, Big L. Anyway, but yeah, same thing. Like the basketball players have evolved. So now Kevin Durant is like ask yourself this: who's the white Kevin Durant? Okay, Kristaps Porzingis, not from America. You know what I mean? Like, what white boy is Kevin Durant? He don't exist. Like, what white boy is Russell Westbrook? Not there either. You know what I mean? Like, these angry human beings who just attack the basketball rim? No. So if you ask me where they going, I don't think they went nowhere. I just think they got eaten up by the system. Like, the bros have kind of endeared themselves to white people after the Ron Artest situation. White people, figured it was safe to come back and watch this great game of basketball. And when they came back, they realized that a lot of the guys who looked like them just weren't here anymore. Because it used to be back in the day, what would we say? Like, I remember hearing Chris Webber and Jalen Rose talk about their days in Michigan, talking about the white boys were on the team for field goal percentage and GPA. Like, in the league, it was like, yeah, Chris Mullin, Larry Bird, like dudes who like shot the three. But now, guess what? Everybody shoots the three. There's nothing special. Like, so if I'm the GM, right, and I'm gonna get there's two players in front of me, and they both can. I got Jimmer Fredette. This actually happened. I got Jimmer Fredette. And I got Kemba Walker. Jimmer can shoot the lights out. He over in Shanghai now or some damn where. That dude can shoot the damn lights out. So can Kemba Walker. Now, he couldn't at first, but that's a skill you can develop. But Kemba real slick and real freaky with the dribble. You know what I mean? And real creative around the rim like Kyrie. like some of those things you just want to have on your team and then help the dude. I heard, who was it? Greg Anthony. He was talking about Ben Simmons. And he was like, dude, everybody's worrying about these dudes shot. This dude shot. But the thing that people ain't considering is that he's a professional now. So you know what he's going to always do? Shoot. That's his job. His job is not to shoot. So he's going to get better as a shooter. Much the way we saw Jason Kidd get better as a shooter. Much the way we saw Greg Anthony get better as a shooter, because that's what the hell you do for a living. You shoot the basketball. Like all summer long. Now that we got Instagram videos and all this kind of stuff, Facebook videos, what do we see all summer long? Dwight Howard, Zach LaVine, all these dudes practicing shooting the basketball because that's what professionals do. So you just being able to shoot as a white cat, all right, sweet, whatever. Ben Simmons is 6'8", handles the ball. He's left-handed, hella athletic, and big as hell. Your turn. Now you go. Yeah. He'll be able to, get you about 32% from three, and that's cool. But as long as he that big and that athletic and he can bully people like the dude wearing number 23 for the Cleveland team does, I think he's been all right. You know what I mean? He's done all right. Speaking of Ben Simmons, his team, 76ers, man, that's is one of those teams that I'm going to be very interested to see this year. And only for a short amount of time because of how they rock. Because apparently Nerlens Noel is on a damn minutes restriction early in this. Not Nerlens, though. I'm sorry. Joel Embiid. Nerlens Noel out. He hurt. Okafor, he's going to be on minutes restriction. They play tonight. Who they play tonight? Damn it. Oh, they play Russ in Oklahoma City. Of course, I'm going to be very interested to see how that situation works out with Russ and Victor Oladipo, Steven Adams, Enes Kanter, and those cats. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm ignoring Mike, not y'all. God, and I'm the D-bag? Me? I'm not going to rehash it. I'll just invite Big L to at some point and go back into the show, and you'll hear the conversation, and you'll probably agree with me. I'm just going to put it out there. Also, I think the Lakers play tonight, too. I'm interested to see how that team looks. D'Angelo Russell in his second year. I'm a fan of what's the kid's name? Julius Randle, kid out of in Kentucky. I'm a fan of his game, man. He got like that old school, old man, low post type game that I'm a fan of, man. And I think he can do some things. He's a little undersized, but he's tough. He's like Draymond tough. And I'm using Draymond, of course, as an example because Luke Walton is the new coach for the LA Lakers. So I'm gonna be interested to see that. Of course, they got Swaggy P out there, which I don't know why anyone would care. Larry Nance, Jordan Clarkson, they're gonna have a nice team on paper, nice young team on paper. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna be very interested to see how things play out with them. The next step for Coach Bradley Stevens, what the next step is gonna be for Brad Stevens and his crew in Boston. Now that they got Al Horford, that piece that they was after. They was after Al since the trading deadline last year, but the Hawks weren't trying to give up nothing for him, or they wanted a lot for him. I'm sorry, they wanted a whole lot for him because you remember the Celtics had all them damn picks, and they were just really like, all right, yeah, you must not understand what we gonna do. We just gonna hold on to our picks, wait till this dude hit free agency, get him anyway, and keep the picks, and that's what the hell they did. Speaking of the Hawks, another team got Dwight Howard in the building now, right here in the city of Atlanta. Got Dwight Howard down here, and I want to see on both ends of the court what this team is going to look like because the last 2 years, this team and Coach Bud, they kind of had that San Antonio Spurs thing going where it was all about motion and natural picks, the extra pass, wide open 3-point jump shots, and it changed a little bit last year. Excuse me. Al knew he was in a contract year, so Al shot a lot more threes. Paul Millsap did a lot more work, just hanging out in the post and not with as much movement, and it looked different last year. Now you got Schroeder signing his extension right before the season, right before the show today. You also have Kent Bazemore getting mad money in the offseason. So I don't know how that's going to affect the way the team decides to use him and the way they look at him moving forward. Because now you got a couple dudes that's making some decent bread. I don't know what the details of the Schroeder deal is, but you got him, you got Dwight, you got Kent Bazemore, and you got Paul Millsap. And I think this is the last year that deal Paul signed 2 summers ago, as a matter of fact. I think this may be I think he may have an opt-out at the end of this year. So I'm very interested to see what this team looks like defensively during the preseason. I was trying to pay attention to him more so on that side of the court, because it looked to me like Dwight was trying to be the rim protector, the block shot guy, and it was compromising the defense a little bit because they're not used to that down here. That team isn't used to that. So the rotations that have to come when you got a big man that's going over and challenging every shot, if you don't rotate, of course you leave yourself susceptible to what? To offensive rebounds. And I saw him get hit with that a couple times. Also, the prospect of Dwight Howard finding himself in foul trouble is another thing and kind of compromising the rotations. So I don't know who the Hawks got tomorrow. I got the schedule here. Let me give you guys the schedule real quick before I go to break for today and tomorrow. So right now playing, you got the Mavs, the Mavs and the Pacers. Pacers, another team that should be a little bit better this year. The Nets, garbage squad, taking on the Celtics at 8. Oh, that already started. Nuggets and Pelicans. The Hornets and the Bucks later on tonight. You got the Kings and the Suns. Also later on tonight, the Rockets and the Lakers on ESPN. The Thunder and the 76ers right now ESPN. You also got the Timberwolves and the Grizz. My man Matt Lutovsky talked about it a little while ago. The Pistons and the Raptors going on right now. And the Miami Heat with Hassan Whiteside, Justice Winslow, Goran Dragic, that's his name, Dragic, taking on that Miami, that Orlando Magic. Who the hell is on that Magic team? Elfrid Payton and Festus Ezeli, and who the hell did and Serge Ibaka is down there now. I forgot all about that. Yeah, that'll be weird. That'll be weird. And tomorrow I'm not gonna be here. So tomorrow you got the Hawks taking on the Wizards. We get to see John Wall and Bradley Beal right down here in the city of Atlanta. At 8 o'clock, you got the Celtics and the Bulls, that new look Bulls thing headed up by Rondo, Jimmy Butler, and of course Dwayne Wade going back home against that Celtics team that I already mentioned earlier. The Spurs gonna go up to Sacramento and push it in on DeMarcus Cousins and the Kings, that trash organization as a whole. Then you got the Clippers and the Blazers. You got Blake Griffin coming back healthy this year, of course. Chris Paul, another year of that, and people waiting on him to break through and, I don't know, do something. Chris Paul has just been a good player for his entire career, but really nothing to show for it. And, of course, DeAndre. I'm glad they took DeAndre out of that damn wig on them Allstate commercials, too. I know it's not for nothing, but, yeah, that was kind of weird and whack. This big 7-foot dude with a goatee running around with flats and a body dress on and a blonde wig. It was kind of like weird and stupid. They might as well, I don't know, whatever. So they got the Trailblazers. Dame Lillard hit them for 30. Now, while everybody wasn't looking, everybody's paying attention to LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Durant and then Steph. Yeah, meanwhile in Portland, yeah, Dame Lillard hit him for 39. Like, people sleep on Dame, man, and it may be just because of where he's playing at, because he's playing up there in the Great Northwest in Portland. But that dude ain't to be messed with. It's a bad dude. Him, C.J. McCollum up there. C.J. McCollum had a breakout season last year. He really ain't to be messed with, man. And a man, he said it, he verbalized it, said that this is the year he's going to win the MVP, or he wants to win the MVP this year, as long as it comes with wins being the caveat. So, yeah, good for him. Set your goals and let's go, because while no one's looking, there's room. There's room for another point guard in the West, and he's tired. You can tell he's tired of getting snubbed on those all-star teams. He want to be in, where is it this year? New Orleans was going to be in in North Carolina, but of course they moved it. So yeah, we're gonna come back right here on the One Mike with Big Mike show. I gotta talk about some NFL stuff. Talk to you guys about Josh Brown and a conversation that I kind of wanted to have on Monday, and it's kind of pertaining to the Atlanta Falcons, but in general, it could apply to a lot of teams about this idea of these wide open championship windows in the NFL that it's a farce. It don't exist. You know what I mean? It's like Haley's comment. You get to see it every now and then, but for the most part, most teams aren't the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? Most teams don't have those extended championship windows that are open each and every year. For most teams, it's about ebbs and flows, and I want to talk about how that's going to affect or what that means actually for the team here in my city of Atlanta. So I'll do it next on the One Mike with Big Mike show, heard right here on Spreaker.com, as well as the Spreaker app and on TuneIn. I'm also on the website, onemikewithbigmike.com. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and Instagram at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE, and like the Facebook page at that same handle. I'll be right back.
Well, I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mike with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mike with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemikewithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mike.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
Make me lose my mind. Up in here. Y'all gonna make me act no fool. Up in here. Yeah. Damn DMX, boy. I be working out at DMX, man. Do you want to get the good workout in? Work out to this fool. Like any album, too. Blood is my blood of my blood, flesh of my flesh. The Great Depression. Then there was just whatever, man. This dude will get you there. It is One Mike with Big Mike show. I got a few minutes left in me. I don't know if I'm going to make it all the way to 9 o'clock. I want to get up out of here, man, watch some of this basketball. I'm trying to pay attention while I'm talking to y'all, but it's very, very hard. Very, very, yeah, and also, that's what she said. Again. Anyway, I'm being heard on Spreaker.com. Make sure you guys sign up for your free Spreaker accounts, whether you're listening to me live or you're hearing this show on demand. Sign up for your free Spreaker accounts. Just go to Spreaker.com or download the Spreaker app to all your mobile devices. You can get them from the Apple Store, from the Play Store on Android, all those things. If you already got the TuneIn joint, I'm live on TuneIn every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday the same way as I am on my website, onemikewithbigmike.com. And if you need to get the show, hear the show on demand, shout out to T-Baby. T-Baby sent me a message on YouTube. She was checking out my stuff on YouTube, so I just want to make sure I say I appreciate that. And you guys can, too. You can go to my YouTube, make sure you subscribe to that situation. Subscribe to Google Play Music, One Mike with Big Mike on Google Play. I'm also on Stitcher. I got to get my Stitcher situation straight because I don't really understand how it works, like a lot of things. But, yeah, I'm going to get that straight so I can figure out how to, get you guys more involved in that. iHeartRadio, and of course iTunes. Make sure you subscribe to iTunes if you're an Apple user as well. You still got time to text me at 404-902-8104 or jump inside the live interactive chat room. What the hell is going on in here? Sorry. Oh, I'm thinking what the hell is I am no dose apologizing to Renee for? All right, approved. All right, so this conversation came to me the other day, right? Because I heard something while I was watching the game on Sunday, the Falcons game on Sunday, and I think it was John Lynch who said that Dan Quinn is trying to build this team in the image of the Seattle Seahawks. And that's like a common theme. Ever since he got hired here, that seemed to be like the common theme that people wanted to run with. And they do it without total context of why that team was what it was, why that Seattle team was and continues to be what it is. And there's a lot more factors in it than saying I'm going to hit on my first round draft pick every year. Like that whole nonsense about this kid, Keanu Neal, being the Cam Chancellor of the defense, wrong. You know why? Because he got first round money. You know what Cam Chancellor didn't get? First round money. Like drafting a safety in the first round is the same. I feel the same way. They're the running backs of the defense. That's why last year when people was like, they need to pay that man, I was the one. Me. I was like, are you out of your damn mind? First of all, they just re-upped him. And then he saw what was happening around him and was like, let me dip again. Let me dip back in and get some more money. And that's why the Seahawks stood firm. Was like, we're not paying you no more damn money. You're a safety, dude. You do realize that, right? You're the running back of the defense. Which is why this year, if you've noticed, guess who's missing hella games because they injured? Because that's what running backs do. They play hard, they run into people, and then their bodies give in. You can't keep giving. You can't keep pouring money down that abyss of running back and safety. Hell no. Because now somebody else is doing Cam Chancellor's job. And ain't nothing against him. Cam Chancellor's a hell of a fine football player. But all that talk about he need to get his money. This is why good teams stay good. The emotional decision that you want your team to make. That's the reason you're a fan and these people get paid money. Other than the Cleveland whatever they are, Browns or whatever. We got to exclude them, at least for right now. They got a brand new regime up in there, and let's see what transpires over the next couple of years. But as far as right now, everybody else is professional. And the assumption to make as a fan is that they know what they're doing. More than what you know. Especially around these parts. Because what you'll hear a lot of times is, like, folks don't watch enough college football. So then whatever name that they've seen on the CBS SEC game every night, that's who their team should draft every year. You know what I mean? That's why that Keanu Neal pick was perfect. Folks was like, yeah, we know him. Or if we don't know him, we at least know the school he went to. That's not enough, man. That's not. I can't even think of what school Cam Chancellor went to. It wasn't one of like the major 5. And I can't even think about it. But either way, as far as the team here in Atlanta goes, for example, there's some things that are going to have to be figured out. Because the one thing that helped kind of kickstart this whole renaissance off in Seattle was the fact that they hit on their third round quarterback who ended up being their Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's a shot in the dark, man. I mean, they hit, they scouted him, they liked him. They were able to grab him in the same round that a lot of people had Russell Wilson graded as a third rounder, but he happened to fall to a team that was going to pick him, and they picked him in that round. And then he ended up being more, let's keep it real, more than what they thought he was going to be. They had just signed Matt Flynn, put some money in his pocket to be their starting quarterback moving forward. But Russell Wilson came in and did that, showed him that he was the actual starter, and it worked out. And what it allowed to happen then was it allowed them to have money freed up to not necessarily go out and spend in free agency, but to keep guys on their team later on when they needed the money, to keep Earl Thomas, when they needed to kind of like pacify Marshawn Lynch who wanted more money, when they needed to get Richard Sherman signed up, things like that, when they needed to get the tackles and people like that, they wanted to trade for Jimmy Graham and take on that contract. All those things came along with the fact that they were able to hit on Russell Wilson. Now, if you here in Atlanta and you think that that's going to be, you're going to be able to mirror that, you tell me if Matt Ryan going to take a 90% pay cut so the team can just go out and start working on other people's deals, because there's going to be some deals that's going to need to be worked out. Desmond Trufant, your left tackle, Jake Matthews. Devontae Freeman going to need some money after next year, because guess what? This is maybe the down part about my favorite kind of running back, the third and fourth round running back. You don't get that 5th-year option with them. You know, it's like I think it's a 3-year deal, and then you got to make some moves. You got to put more money in their pocket. That's why Russ got paid at the same time as like Cam and Andrew Luck and them cats, because he was a later round pick. They didn't have that 5th-year option to throw on them that you get with the first-round pick. So that's what you're dealing with. Devontae Freeman, guess what? He's not Dan Quinn's guy. The previous regime drafted him. Dan Quinn's guy is out with a hamstring right now in Tevin Coleman. And like any running back, all these dudes, no matter what the league says, that bell cow running back stuff is dead. No matter what the league says, all these dudes feel like they can go somewhere and be the bell cow running back. And Devontae Freeman, he's no different. You know, if it comes down to him being able to go and get real money somewhere else, he's out of here. Because, again, he plays running back in the NFL, which really means not for long for them. If he gets the opportunity, he got to bounce. Speaking of running backs, by the way, Arian Foster. I'll get back into this. Arian Foster just retired on Monday. I think during the show he retired. So, and it's funny that just like a day before that, I was thinking about that dude, because I was thinking about what I was going to talk to Ben Troop about on Monday, and the Jay Ajayi thing came up, and I was thinking about Arian Foster, and I'd always said about him, because I thought he was done after last year. I didn't think he was going to sign another deal with the team, because if you ever heard him talk about football, he don't talk about football in that vein of, man, I love this game and I want to play it forever and ever. Like, he's very, very matter of fact. He has been very, very matter of fact about this. I play this game for the financial benefits. So my kids, because when asked about if his kids was going to play, he was like, hell no. I play because I needed to and I had to. They live good. They rich. You know, they don't got to play no damn football and getting concussions and broken body parts and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't think he was going to be a dude that was going to say, you know what, let me just try to like squeeze another couple $100,000 out of some team. And I think, you know, inevitably he looked at the situation this year and was like, you know what, my body really don't have this in it no more. Let me go ahead and scram. So anyway, that's happened. But getting back to the conversation, so yeah, Devontae Freeman's going to need money. Kamal Ismail, the other safety, he's going to need some money, which, again, you just heard me say. You know, Big L. Arian Foster's been retired for 3 years now. At least his body has. Like, he's been there in spirit, but every year, hamstring, Achilles tendon, kneecap or something. Yeah, his body's broke. And then here's the funny thing, when you look at a guy like Arian Foster, think about his running style. Think about any time you've seen Arian Foster run the football, and think about one time that he's ever been like just crushed, like he just hit flush. Like, this is one of the dudes who run out of bounds. He's able to really go limp when contact is coming and really absorb contact. But still, it's still football. It's still NFL football. So anytime, it goes back to my whole my conversation that I always have about this lie that they want to tell you guys, we're making the game safer. The game is so much safer. Lies. Lies. We've made it appear to be that way. Ain't no damn safety in football. If that's the case, they probably can find a way to make crash test dummying safe too. No, you can't at all. Like, stop letting people make you think that big hits in the middle of the field are concussions, or dirty hits are concussions. Watch running plays. Every running play, just watch the offensive line. Those are what they call subconcussive blows. Every time. And every time with those boom microphones, you can hear. Like, I swear, that dude, Melvin Gordon, he had to have about 4 or 5 of them last week. Straight up. Because Cass was getting banged around, knocking heads last week. That dude had to have. Like, a couple times, you see him shaking his head, like shaking it off. But it wasn't out in the open field. It wasn't the quarterback. It wasn't some, primetime all-star wide receiver. So ain't nobody say nothing. Yeah. brains turning into mush right in front of your face. And, like, I'm not asking y'all to care because I don't care. They're being compensated, and they've been educated. That's all that matters to me. People know what they're getting into. Run it. Entertain me every Sunday and Monday and Thursday. Entertain me. So, yeah, this Falcons team, I don't know how open this window is for this team. I don't look at them this year as being a championship team. And people are talking about moving forward. This team is building towards that. Well, hold on. Let's think about something real quick. Let's think about how lucky you've been with Matt Ryan. He don't miss no damn games. Even through that period, the couple of years, 3 years when the offensive line might as well have been nothing. Might as well just been tissue paper. Like on the previous show that I produced here in Atlanta, we used to have this drop that just like hit as he throws, hit as he throws. We used to call Matt Ryan Mr. Hit as he throws because that's what every time he threw the football, he's getting his mouth caved in. And luckily, you as an Atlanta Falcons fan never had to see what's the kid's name, Sean Renfree or whatever his damn name was this year, Matt Schaub again. Luckily, you ain't got to see that dude. But like every football player, inevitably, your body does break down. And it'll happen to Matt Ryan because he's entering like a decade in the league now. If he's not already at 10, he's going 9 or 10 years in the league right now. And at some point, it's going to happen. At some point, the dude who you don't want to see, especially here in Atlanta, like in other places, people might want to see the backup. Not here. You're going to have to see him. And then what? Then what does that do? Because the defense is still going to be the defense. You still got those young linebackers over there. Vic Beasley is still, hot and cold, or at least cold and lukewarm. Desmond Trufant is still good, but then you got the other corner and Robert Alford that can't keep his hands off folks during pass routes. My point is the defense ain't built for that. The defense ain't built to carry this team without number 2 back there. The other thing that you notice with these teams who are able to stay in the conversation, the Patriots, the Seahawks, they stay in the conversation because they're willing to take chances in the draft. Look at Bruce Irving. Remember when they drafted him in the first round to be a situational pass rusher? This kid, what's the kid's name? His last name is Clark out of Michigan. The kid that had the domestic violence thing at Michigan, like no one talks about it anymore. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like the cousin, it's like the uncle with the crack problem, and no one talks about it. They just make sure they keep all their stuff and they stuff in their pockets when he around. Yeah. What the hell is that kid's name? Damn, his last name is Clark. But, and even guys like Cam Chancellor. Like Cam Chancellor now is like the poster boy for the big physical safety. But when he got drafted, which is why he lasted so long, it was like, what the hell are you going to do with this kid? Is he a linebacker? Is he a safety? What the hell is he? The Seahawks knew. He was a freaking all-pro. The Pro Bowler. But you got to be willing to take chances, and you got to be able to draft for your system. That's what they do. That's why Taylor Mays didn't get drafted by the Seahawks. That's why Earl Thomas did. Taylor Mays played for Pete Carroll at USC. I think he made the right choice with Earl Thomas, though. You know what I mean? Guys like Richard Sherman, who played wide receiver at Stanford. They said he was too slow. He wasn't athletic enough. Arguably the best corner in the league. Yeah. You got to be able to do those things. And the track record here in Atlanta when it comes to drafting, 1, developing players, 2, you tell me. You tell me what we're looking at. Because I'm not sure, to be honest with you, I'm not sure what Vic Beasley is. But I look around. I see this kid, Leonard Floyd, who ain't played. He's got a guy, one of his friends, Shaq Lawson, coming off an injury up in Buffalo. I'm going to keep my eye on that. Joey Bosa. He got as many sacks right now after not practicing at all in the preseason. He's essentially going straight from college to the pros. No warm-up, OTAs, none of that. He's already got 4 sacks and a bunch of pressures, what Vic Beasley did last year. So I don't know. And that's the only measuring stick I have for him. Other dudes, other young pass rushers, what is he doing in comparison to other young pass rushers? This year's season, by the numbers, is decent. He had like 3.5 against against the Broncos a couple weeks ago, and then he had one against the Raiders, I guess, where he was chasing the guy out of bounds, and my man ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage, and Vic was the guy closest to him, and technically that's a sack. The other thing that has to happen for these teams, when we start talking about taking risks, look at what the Patriots just did this year with Chandler Jones. Understanding that they were going to have to get this dude money, man. They're going to have to pay this dude money. And not that he ain't a bad player, but we got other dudes that's going to need money. So he got to go. And we'll make up the difference. We'll Rob Ninkovich and all these cats, we'll figure it out. They just traded the Detroit Lions for a second round, a guy who was drafted, a linebacker who was drafted in the second round. They cut earlier a tackle or guard, a tackle or guard. I think it was a guard that got drafted in the second round. Cut him. Like, these are the things that the good teams do. They're willing to move off of pretty high profile prospects, and also trade for guys who may have fallen on bad times in other organizations, but feel as though they may have a fit or they may have somewhere to go within their organization. Falcons don't do that. And then there's the free agency market. Seattle Seahawks have done well in the free agency market, but it's not what they did, it's when they did it. Guys like Michael Bennett. It's when they did it. Michael Bennett was just a piece. Whereas, to give you guys a compare and contrast, whereas here in Atlanta, we see free agent spending, the free agent spending, I should say, that goes on around here, as a way to remedy previous mistakes. You know what I mean? Like, we weren't able to draft this person, or this person that we did draft didn't turn out. So then we don't have Lamar Holmes anymore. So we go out and get, what's the name of the kid's name that was drafted before? Jake Long. He's beat up. His body's beaten up and broken. Didn't work out. No pass rushers. Let's go get Osi Umenyiora. We don't have no running backs. All right. Steven Jackson's available. All these dudes used up, washed up guys that you're bringing in here. They got names and people recognize their names. They weren't gonna help you do nothing. They weren't gonna help this. They weren't gonna help your football team move forward. And that's been a consistent theme. So that idea that this season for the Atlanta Falcons isn't like a blip or a flash in the pan. There's no evidence to show you otherwise. There's none. That this season, it's pretty much break or bust. They just went and got Stephen Ridley, by the way, because of you heard my man Matt Lutovsky talk about it in the last segment. Stephen Ridley, I'm sorry, 2 segments ago. Stephen Ridley, former Patriots, another guy who you know his name, former Giant, now current Falcon. They cut AJ Hawk and some other cats, but for the most part, this team is just going to be what it is. Maybe they'll compete this year, but I'm not going to guess that anyone trusts this defense. And again, if Matt Ryan has to miss a couple of games for whatever reason, you might as well start over. Because while they trying to build this defense piece by piece, like that linebacker, what the hell is his name? The kid that got the interception last week. He's pretty good, and the other kid, 59, they're pretty good. But we thought the same thing about Bartu Joplo and Paul Warlow. We thought the same thing about them. But inevitably, if you don't have nothing up front, Hennigan or Hegman or whatever his name is, and Vic Beasley and those guys, and Claiborne, if they're not giving you what you need defensively, your linebackers and your secondary are worthless. No matter how good they are, they're worthless. That's the key to what that thing you see going on in Seattle. This is why every year it's a different corner across from Richard Sherman. Don't matter. They teach them how to play the system, and they make it happen because they still got guys like Michael Bennett that's going to get after the damn quarterback. Frank Clark is God. It just hit me. Frank Clark is his damn name. Guys like that, where they can take a chance on to be a situational pass rusher. It matters, man. when you talking about building, you can't build brick by brick. You got to build that house floor by floor. And the Falcons doing this brick by brick thing. By the time it's built, you're going to be on another young quarterback. Matt Ryan ain't going to play forever. And him playing, like, here should be your biggest fear, is that you're seeing the pinnacle right now of Matt Ryan's ability. Like, this is as good as it's going to get for him. And everything else after this year is going to be a easy, if you're lucky, an easy, slow decline to his retirement. It's One Mic with Big Mike. We got about 5 minutes left in the show. Appreciate you guys hanging out right here with me on Spreaker.com. There was no video today. I got to figure out what's going on with my video situation. It's been real herky-jerky and been flaking on me for the last week or so. And finally today it just gave me the finger and said, yeah, D-bag, it's radio. Talk. Don't nobody need to see nothing. Talk. So, and I wish I would have known, too. Could have made this a No Pants Wednesday. But, oh well. We'll see how it works out. Last thing I want to talk about, just as a, just forwarding, just bringing the story forward on this Josh Brown situation. He's been suspended from the league, from the team. He's been cut. Excuse me. Back up. He's been cut from the team. We talked about on Monday how the domestic violence situation with him, his journals were released, where he he documented his abusive relationship with his wife and the things that he did to her, and him treating her as a slave and using the finances to kind of hold her hostage and things of that nature. So he released a statement today. Wait till you hear this crap, this sure bit. Where is it? Did I sigh? I don't think I did. I'm sorry that my past has it's called into question the character or integrity of the New York Giants, Mr. Mara, or any of those who have supported me along the way. I have taken measures to get help so that I may be the voice of change, not a statistic. It is important to share that I never struck my wife and never would. Wait, say what? Yeah. Yeah. I'm not hooked on crack. I can get off of it anytime I want to. It's not just a river in Egypt, cuz. Anyway, abuses take many forms. And it's not a gray area. Yeah, then why you bring up that, whatever, man. Through the past several years, I have worked to identify and rectify my own behaviors. The road to rehabilitation is a journey and a constant modification of way of life. My journey will continue forever as a person determined to leave a positive legacy, and I embrace the opportunities to show and speak about what has helped me to be that man. In the interim, I am cooperating with the Giants and the NFL. Thank you to everyone who has supported me. I will not let you down. That's funny. Again, no mention of the wifey except for the fact to say that I didn't hit her. I don't know a lot about like dudes who like abusive cats, but I know that that's one thing. You know what I mean? Like, I remember my family that was on some of that stuff one day. You know what I mean? He damn near, from based on what was told to us by the neighbor, that he damn near tried to kill his wife. But then he's talking to my mother-in-law. It's my brother-in-law. I guess I just gave that away. My brother-in-law. He's talking to my mother-in-law and telling her, I ain't do all that. I just slapped her. Wait, what? Like, when did that become acceptable, though? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, and then there's Victor Cruz. You know, all of a sudden today, now Victor Cruz, I'm appalled by anything involving domestic violence and this, that, and other. Like, here's the thing, and somebody mentioned this the other day, and I can't believe it slipped my mind. Victor Cruz ain't really the one to be talking about respecting women. You remember that incident last year before last, whenever it was, where his baby mama was pregnant, and she found out he had like 22 side chicks, and she went on his phone or whatever, or wherever it was, and she messaged all of them. You know what I mean? Like, introduce herself to all of his 22 side chicks. It's like, this ain't the dude that's like gonna be the spokesperson for respecting women. You understand what I'm saying? So today, all of a sudden, he's all on some, I think it's deplorable, and I'd appreciate you guys if you guys don't ask me any more questions about Josh Brown. Oh, hold on, B. You the one that was talking about that's your man and that's your teammate and you guys support him and all this kind of stuff. That was you, wasn't it? But now all of a sudden, he ain't your teammate no more, so he ain't your man. And now it's like, you don't want nobody to ask you questions. I hope every day in every media availability for the rest of his career. That someone is as douchey as I am, and they'll just continue to ask him the same thing about the same dude every time. Clown ass dude. I ain't even read the question of the day answer. I only had one answer to the question of the day. And the question of the day is brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. And it was, who's got more to worry about? The Cubs lost last night. Looks like they're winning tonight. Or the Warriors, who got it pushed in by the damn Spurs last night. And Rich LaRue Campbell II said the Cubs. It's to be expected about the Warriors. They have to get the chemistry together. They have 81 more games to do that. The Cubs don't have that kind of time to get it together. He's right. He's damn right. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here, man. I got some DVR to watch. I got some sports to watch tonight. I got a bunch of stuff I got to get taken care of before we come back and do this thing again on Friday. I got to get this damn webcam fixed too, man. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Big L, I am No Dose. Was Peter Quill in this mother tonight? Yeah, Peter Quill was in this mother tonight. And, of course, Renee. Oh, and our Barbershop Sports Talk podcast checked in with us tonight in the chat room, man. So appreciate you guys hanging out. Appreciate you guys if you're listening. If you were listening to this on demand, I appreciate you just as much. You guys make sure you continue to leave your comments. Big L left me a comment after the show yesterday. You guys can do the same thing. And I replied to it. I don't know if you got it, but the thing said if you want to reply to him, hit this button, and I hit it. So anyway, you can get the show on demand. If you didn't get the whole thing here live on Spreaker, the Spreaker app. Tune in, OneMicWithBigMike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Make sure you guys like my Facebook page at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. And until Friday, hopefully we have the video stuff back up and popping. And until Friday, you guys be safe, enjoy your sports, and enjoy whatever else you got going on. And I'll talk to you guys then.